Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. A few weeks ago, Monica from Monica's Beauty and Lifestyle and Sheila from Simply Sheila, the three of us were talking and we ended up purchasing the TATI Beauty Palette. We thought that this would be a nice way of, it's not really a collaboration because we're not uploading our videos at the same time. It's more in conjunction with, and that way we give you our different perspectives, our ideas. The three of us are different. We apply our makeup differently, and that will give you as the viewer a good perspective, I think, on the palette. When I review any product, not just this palette, my thought is I want to give you the information. I'm not here to try to sell you anything or for you to run out and buy it. Just giving you information if you are considering purchasing the palette or if you have it and you want some ideas about it. I'm recording this on Friday. I believe that tonight Sheila's video will be going up today, and I will leave the link to Sheila's video listed down in the description box. You'll be seeing my video on Saturday and Monica's video will go up on Sunday. I will leave the link to Monica's channel listed down in the description box. Today's Saturday because obviously I don't have the link, but that way if you are not subscribed to Monica, you can go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification, and that way when Monica's video goes up, you can go and visit her. If you're watching this after Saturday, then the link to both of their videos will be listed down in the description box. All right, moving on. TATI Beauty Palette. So, I don't know if anyone in the mature community has talked about it, but I think it's a little bit different how different palettes, different shadows apply on us, that if we're over 50 or in my case over 60 than those ladies that are in their 20s or 30s. All right, so in the palette, if you've seen, there's a great big mirror that this whole thing is, it has a nice substantial mirror. The palette has 6 shades. You have Poet and Aura and Soothe and Story, Ritual, and Memory. You have 5 shades. The nice thing and the unique, what I find unique about this palette is that you have 4 different textures. You have your mattes, you have your sequins, you have your metallics, and you have your glitters. Let me give you a little bit of thoughts. I think the glitters are really the star of the show because they are so unique in their texture. If you watch Tati's videos, she talked about the texture in these glitters. I personally love them. When I review a palette, I like to have used it a few times. I have used this palette quite a few, at least 4 or 5 times I've used it. With different looks, I wanted to try the different textures, and that way I could give you my full thought on it. With the glitter, I used it without a glitter glue and I used it with a glitter glue. My thoughts on it is that if you apply it with your finger, not to dig in, just tap it lightly and tap it lightly on your eye. I personally tried it with the NYX glitter glue and I didn't care for it that way. My preferred way is that I took a little, in my case I took a little cap, but I took a little cap, just a little cap. I added a bit of Anastasia glitter glue into the cap. Then I took a felt or a rubber brush, you know, kind of like the ones that come with the very inexpensive palettes from the drugstore. This is something like that. I just ordered one from Huda Beauty that seems to be a little bit more substantial than these inexpensive ones that I have, but the inexpensive one works fine. They just don't last as long. That's why I ordered the Huda one. Anyway, so you take a little bit of the glitter glue, put it into the cap, dip your brush in the glitter and tap it inside, and then just mix it together and then just tap on your eye. When I applied it in that way, I didn't get much, if any, fallout. That's the first thing I want to let you know. The other thing that I found with the palette. I thought the mattes blended out beautifully. I did not have any problems with the mattes whatsoever. However, I do want to say something about that. If you have any experience with the Prism palette, where so many were saying, well, it's patchy, it doesn't move, it just stays where you put it and then you can't blend it out. This is pretty much the same way as the Prism palette, because these mattes are highly pigmented. And if you take your brush and you dig it in there and then you place it on your eye, it's not going to be able to blend. I'm going to take, this is a Sonia G brush. I just picked this one up because it's a clean one. But I just want to show you just a little bit, just a bit, where you just get a little bit on the brush. And then you start applying and you start blending, and you won't have any problem. I didn't have any problems with any of the mattes, and I've used them all. I thought the black is spectacular. I used it as a liner, and I also used it in my outer V. I really, really like. The only two shades that I have not used are the sequin and the sequin and the metallic from the Memory row. But other than that, I have tried every shade in this palette, and I thought it worked beautifully. My favorite row is the metallics, because they are so incredibly smooth. It's like butter. And you could apply it with a brush, you could apply it with your fingers. As you will see, if you want to see the look that I created at the end of the video, you will see that I applied the Ritual in metallic in the center of my eye, and then I took Soothe in the metallic, and I also used Aura in the metallic. I didn't have any problems, whether I used my finger or I used the brush. As far as the sequined row, it is a matte with these micro glitters in it. If you, once again, dig in your brush and you start going to town with it, you're going to have fallout and glitter everywhere. My preferred way of applying it is first dipping your brush, wetting it a little bit with any one of your setting sprays that you have, whether it's this one, the Bella Jade, or it's the Fix Plus, and just spraying a little bit on it and then applying it. And then I didn't have any problems. There is a little bit of fallout. I don't have a problem with that because I'll just wipe it away. Or if that is something that is concerning to you, my suggestion would be maybe do your eyes before you apply the rest of your makeup. I did my look, and you will see when I'm applying my shadows, you will see that I have my foundation on. I didn't apply my concealer because I wanted to do my lower lash line, and just in case there was any fallout, when I wiped it away, it would be easy. Other than that, I think it is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I love the packaging on it. I think it's beautiful. I love the way it looks almost like a book. And it has volume 1 here, which leads me to believe that there might be other palettes. So if you want to stack them up, you will certainly be able to do that. TATI Beauty is cruelty-free, it is vegan, and it is made in the United States. I love the packaging. I don't know if I would travel with it because it is on the bigger side. However, I really like it because I can create so many looks with it. It also, another reason why I love this palette is because it truly takes me out of my comfort zone, because glitters is not really something that I use very often. And this palette certainly has enough glitter where I wouldn't say I would wear it every day, but every once in a while I think that I would really enjoy just putting a little tap. I'm going out, just a little tap, don't dig into the glitters, just a little tap and a little tap on your eye or with the felt sponge, and I think that you will not have any problems. The palette is $48. If you say, I would never use those glitters, or I would never use that memory row, or I won't use the memory row and I won't use the poet row, I don't think the palette is worth it. And those are just my thoughts. If you're just going to use 3 of the rows in here, it might be a bit pricey to, or just to really say, well, you know, I'm going to spend $48 on a palette and all I'm going to use are 9 shades. I don't think it's worth it. If you think, like I do, oh, I could use all of these shades, I like to mix the textures, it's going to bring me out of the comfort zone, I definitely think the palette is worth it. I think the quality is absolutely amazing. Like I said, I have not had any problems with any of the shades. The other thing I want to let you know, I tried it with a primer, without a primer. I also tried it with the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer, and I tried it with the Smashbox primer. I do not care for this primer. As a mature, creepy eye woman, I do not care for this primer at all. I have 2 of these and I will probably send them to my daughter because I just felt that it made my lids overly dry. It didn't work for me at all. A Smashbox that I always use and I never have any problem with worked exceptionally well with these shadows. So just something to keep in mind. I also used it without a primer and I thought they looked nice. I didn't feel that it lasted as long as when I did it with the primer. I did one eye with and one eye without, just to see, and I just thought it looked a little bit more vibrant, a little bit lasting longer when I used it with the primer. I think it's a good value palette because such a little goes a long way. You just dip it a little bit and you're going to get the payoff on it. I think that if you want to support Tati, then it's definitely something to purchase. But once again, if you're going to use the majority of the shades, I know that I will use the majority of the shades, and the glitter row I will use, but sporadically. I'm not going to use it every day. One thing that I really liked about this palette is sometimes we get these palettes and they tend to be a bit overwhelming. I love the placement. If you want to use an entire row, you can do that and you will get a beautiful look. It doesn't matter which row you choose, the look is going to be beautiful. She also did something that I thought was very creative and very unique, and that is that you can go diagonally and the shades will work. So you might very well be like me, I go all over the place and they work exceptionally well. It has a beautiful color story and the shades work very well together, whether you just want a neutral look or you want some bits of pops of color. All right, I think I got everything that I wanted to tell you about the palette. I'm going to go in now and show you the look that I created, and just so you can see how the shades apply. This is just the one look. If you want to see other looks with the palette, whether it's an evening look or using some other shades or using the glitters, please let me know in the comments, and I would love to do maybe 3 or 4 looks and one palette, kind of, and make them short. Obviously make the looks a little short, but I can certainly do that. Also, please remember that I have very hooded eyes and that my application is probably a little bit different than how some of the others place them. And the last disclaimer that I'm going to make, I am not a makeup artist. I am just like you, and I have absolutely no training except, I don't know, 45 years of using makeup. All right, let's go to the look and then I'll come back with my final thoughts. I'm going to start out just by letting you know that I do have on my face, wrong foundation. I have the Dior Forever, and this is in shade 041. I don't have anything else except I dip my brows, and what I'm wearing on my head is my wig grip. I'm going to apply some of the Smashbox primer. I think these shadows work well with or without primer. I just feel that they probably last a little bit longer, or maybe they just adhere a little bit better when I wear an eye primer. it doesn't really matter which one you use. I just happen to like the Smashbox. I did try it with the new primer from Anastasia, and I didn't care for it. I thought it just made my eyes too dry. I don't, that primer, that eyeshadow primer doesn't really work for me. So, and as you can see, I wore very little. This look that I am doing today is the one that I posted on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram. And what I did, I started with the shade Ritual in Matte with a flat brush, whatever you like. I usually start off that way. And the way I do it, I just pat it on my outer V because of my hooded eyes. Let me move. And I bring it pretty fair up as I'm tapping because of my hooded eyes. There is some glitter in this one, even though I did take Ritual, and it's because the sequin shadow just above it, the Ritual sequin, kind of sparsed out, but that doesn't bother me, but it's something for you to be aware of. Then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to start bringing it in. That's how I usually do my crease shade or my transition. I just try to diffuse it a little bit. I think one thing to really keep in mind with this palette is to go in very, very lightly because it's so highly pigmented. So it's better just to do a little tap. I believe that Tati, if I remember correctly, she said that in her video. If you go in with too much, if you really dip your brush in, you are going to have more difficulty in the blending of it, in my experience. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Soothe, which is this matte. They're all Soothe, but I'm going to use the matte right now. Just a little tap. And I'm going to use that kind of my transition and looking straight ahead because of my hooded eyes. Now I'm going in with Poet in the matte with a flat shader brush, just tapping very lightly and packing it close to Ritual that I had just placed. And I'm bringing it up just a little bit. Okay, not sure why I was trying to show you this eye. I should have been showing you the other eye because it'll be easier for you to see. So we're going to take it from there. Okay, now all I'm going to do is blend because I don't want to have any harsh edges right now. I liked it with that little bit of Poet in there just to give it a bit more dimension. Now I'm going to go in with Ritual in the metallic right there. Where is it? Right here. I'm just taking it with my finger and I'm just going to lightly place it in the middle. Let me show you with the other eye. All I'm doing is tapping very, very lightly. I'm going to deepen it up a bit. You can do this with a brush as well and it turns out just as nice. I just happen to like to do it with my finger like this. But you'll see with the next shade I'm going to use, because of my nails I can't get into the inner corner, and I'm also going to use a metallic, but I'm going to use a brush, and I'm going to use the Sonia G. This is a flat brush, can't remember the name of it, but I'm going in with Soothe, and that in this shade right here. The Soothe Metallic shade is what it is. So I'm going to tap lightly into it. And now I'm going to tap in my inner corner. And just overlap a little bit with the Ritual in metallic that I just applied. Going in with Aura in the metallic, which is this one. I'm using a Sonia G pencil brush, just the tip, just for my inner corner, because I haven't done my concealer yet. Taking another, a very short, this is a Zoeva, and it's a very short shader brush. It's probably a smudger or something. I'm going to go back with Aura in the metallic, and I'm going to apply that right next to my brow. Going to use a Sigma pencil brush. Is that what that is? Yeah. And I'm going back with Ritual in the matte to do my lower lash line, tapping very lightly and going close to my lower lashes and bringing it up to join it with the shadow that I have up on top. Let me show you on this eye. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of my face and I'll be right back. I'm going to move in a little bit closer before I leave so you could see the final look. Please go over and see Monika and Sheila's looks and what they have to say about the palette. I know that I am anxious. We didn't want to talk about it. We didn't want to give a whole lot of thoughts. We don't know what the other is doing. Obviously, when I'm recording this, I haven't seen Sheila's, and I certainly won't see Monika's until tomorrow when my video is up. So it'll be interesting to see our different perspectives on the palette. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have the palette, if you're planning to pick it up. If you are planning to pick it up, you could only get it on the Tati Beauty website. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. And don't forget, ladies, follow your passion, whatever it may be. I'll see you next time. Bye.